Today we're going to be looking at Lesson 16, which deals with working with SmartArt in PowerPoint 2013. In this lesson, we're going to talk about converting a list to SmartArt. That can either be a bulleted list or a numbered list. We're going to talk about changing the order of those SmartArt pieces. We'll be discussing how to modify SmartArt styles and colors. We're also going to be dealing with using picture-based SmartArt, that is, graphics that can be turned into SmartArt. And then finally, we're going to be showing you how to fill a shape, specifically a SmartArt shape, with a picture. In Lesson 16, we're going to need to open our files, and to do that, we're going to need to navigate to our book. And specifically, we're going to go to page 947. So turning to page 947, we scroll down on this page to find the PowerPoint file that needs to be opened. I click to open that file. I'm going to enable the editing of that file. And finally, we're going to do a Save As to save this file to our Documents folder, placing it in the folder with today's date on it. If you need to create that folder, you've got the New Folder button to create a folder with today's date. We're ready to begin with working with SmartArt in our PowerPoint presentation. The first slide that we're going to place some SmartArt on is on slide number 6. So please go to slide number 6 with me. And here on slide 6, we want to take these 6 items that's in our numbered list, and we want to turn these 6 items into a SmartArt graphic. A lot of students will make the mistake on the test of trying to create SmartArt by going to the Insert tab. And yes, you can create a new SmartArt object by going to the Insert tab and clicking on SmartArt. That's fine if this text has not already been typed. But in our circumstance, as will be on many of the questions relating to SmartArt on your test, the list already exists. So, when you want to take an existing list and turn it into SmartArt, on the Home tab we've got this option that says Convert to SmartArt. So, I click on the drop-down arrow relating to the Convert to SmartArt, and here you will see many different choices that you can choose from in order to create your SmartArt graphic. The one the book wants to choose is the Basic Timeline SmartArt image. The Basic Timeline SmartArt image. For me, that's in the 3rd row toward the end of that list. Basic Timeline. Now, after seeing it, they've decided to go ahead and change the look from this particular one to a different type of SmartArt. We can always change SmartArts by going to a different layout. So I'm looking at my layout options, and I'm going to click the drop down here so that I can see all of the different choices that are available to me. And the layout that they wish to use is going to be called a continuous block process, changing my SmartArt from the timeline to the continuous block process. Next, they want to demonstrate the fact that you can add and delete objects. So we're going to go to this very last box here, and we're going to click on it, and on our keyboard, simply pressing the delete key will get rid of that particular object. Remember, this is SmartArt, so when you do that, it will automatically change the sizing of the other objects that are in the SmartArt. There are times that you wish to add additional items. There's two ways that you can do this. If I wish to add a new last object, with the last object selected, I could click the Add Shape button, would be one way to add this object. Alternatively, I can use this little arrow key that appears on the left side of the SmartArt, and going to the end of the current text, I can press the Enter key, creating a new line, and add the new text for the last object. And we're going to say follow up to gauge, G-A-U-G-E, gauge progress. Follow up to gauge progress. I'm done with the box. I'm not going to type any more text right now, so I'm going to close this box out. Going now to slide 9. Once again, we have text that is already pre-typed into our slide. Notice that this is a two-layered bulleted list. I've got an outside layer that has 3 points on it, and inside layers that have 3 points each as well. These are called sublists. Well, we have SmartArt that can accommodate multi-layer lists such as this. So I select my SmartArt, and I'm going to go to the Convert to SmartArt drop down again. The choice we're going to use for this particular type of SmartArt is the horizontal bulleted list. You can see with the preview of some of the others that not all of the SmartArt would make sense. Hierarchical list would fit a multi-level list as well, but we're going to go to the horizontal bulleted list. Looking at the list, we'll find on the left-hand side it says find a local chapter or organization, and the right-hand says volunteer your services. Now, if I wanted to change the order of my list completely, where the last one comes first and the first one comes last, so I'm just completely wanting to flip the list. If I have that circumstance, which does happen from time to time, I can use the option that says right to left. This is on the Design tab of my SmartArt tools. I've got the right to left button, and when I click on that button, it does change the order by flipping it around the opposite direction that the list existed. Again, they're going to change the type of SmartArt that is being used here. The one that they want to change to is called a vertical box list, and that is probably visible right on your SmartArt list. If it's not on your ribbon, you can click the drop down and find the vertical box list. So we made our change to this option. They do want to apply a style. So a SmartArt style can be found over here on the style list. They're going to use one of the 3D styles. The first one in the 3D is the polished look, and that's the style they wish to choose. They also are going to change the color system for this particular SmartArt. While the book does specify a color, I'm going to let you choose the color of your liking for this particular slideshow. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new slide. Now, the slide that I want to add, I want to be slide 3 when I'm done. So, we're going to scroll up. Here's the question. Do I click on slide 2 or do I click on slide 3? The correct answer is to click on slide 2. PowerPoint always inserts after the slide that you're currently on. So going to slide 2, we're going to click on the drop-down arrow for New Slide, and we're going to add a title and content slide. The title for this slide is going to be Sources of Funding. Now, as we are talking about SmartArt in this lesson, it is a safe assumption that we're going to be adding a SmartArt graphic for the content area of this particular slide. So I'm going to click on the SmartArt option, and the particular type of SmartArt that they wish us to add is called Basic Matrix. Now, taking a listen to that title, Basic Matrix, what you want to do is look over on the left-hand side and see if you can narrow your choices down. Well, based on the name, Basic Matrix, means I'm going to narrow my choices down by going to the Matrix group. Now, I can take a look until I find the Basic Matrix group, which I have found, and clicking OK. Alright, in the first box, we're going to type in individual donations. Individual donations. So in the first box, we typed in individual donations. Just as a note, we could type this by opening up the text area and clicking over here as well. The second item is going to be corporate contributions. C-O-R-P-O-R-A-T-E. Corporate contributions. For the next box, in the bottom right corner, we're going to type in government funding. And in the last box, we're going to type in special events. Alright, I'm done with the typing portion, so I'm going to close this out. So we have created our SmartArt graphic from scratch. For the next item, we're going to go to slide number 5. We're going to delete the current picture that's in the place here. We're going to replace this with a SmartArt graphic. Now that we've deleted the graphic, we're going to take the text on this slide and convert it to SmartArt. So I select the 3 bulleted points. Using the tool we've learned about, Convert to SmartArt, we're going to use this tool. The particular item that I wish to use is not actually in this list right here, so we are going to go to the More SmartArt graphics. The type of graphic we're going to use relates to some pictures. We are going to be adding some pictures to this particular graphic. So we're going to click on the picture option. And we're going to use the picture caption list. That is the third option in the picture group. And we're going to use this SmartArt. That's taken our bulleted list and it's created 3 different items. And we're going to add 3 different pictures. So I'm going to click above the first option, and I am going to browse my computer. I'm going to browse my computer for that file. Specifically, I'm going to go to Desktop, Class Files, IIT, PowerPoint, and Chapter 2. The file I'm looking for is a P16 try B file. P16 try B. So I'm going to click on that picture and insert that picture into our SmartArt graphic. We're going to repeat the process for the next two, but doing different pictures. So I'm going to click on the second picture, browse. Should take us now to the correct location. So we're going to go to the P16 try C file. And we're going to insert that picture. And finally, the last picture we're going to add here is the donating supplies option. So I'm going to click on donating supplies, the graphic option, browse, and as you might guess, we're going to use the P16 try D file. Again, a SmartArt graphic that incorporates text and pictures into the SmartArt graphic. Next, we're going to go to slide 11. On slide 11, we are going to turn this picture into a SmartArt graphic. To do this, we're going to click on the picture itself. There are several types of layouts within the SmartArt list that incorporates pictures. If you go to the Format tab, on the Format tab there is an option with a picture selected that gives you Picture Layout. What this is going to do is bring up several of the SmartArt options that are available that specifically accommodate pictures. The one that we are going to use is called Snapshot Picture List. That happens to be the fourth one in the list, so we're going to click on that Snapshot Picture List. The text we're going to type in here is going to say, "You can make a difference." Now, with this particular SmartArt graphic, there is a way to get some text on the right side. However, the easy way to do that is going to be to open up the text box for typing in our text that we're going to be typing relating to the picture. I'm going to click at the end of "You can make a difference." I'm going to press the Enter key, which initially creates a new item for a new picture. That's not what we want. What I want to do is I want to indent this text. So I'm going to press the Tab key, or I could have also used the Demote key on the ribbon. Either one would have been acceptable. What that's going to do is it's going to place a new box over here on the right hand side of the picture that I can do some typing into. And the typing that we're going to put in here is "People need help." People need help. Pressing the Enter key. After "People need help," we're going to say "Organizations need volunteers." Organizations need volunteers. Organizations need volunteers. And pressing the Enter key one last time, we're going to type in "Sign up today." So repeating the typed text, "You can make a difference." On the next line, indented in "People need help," followed by "Organizations need volunteers," and finally, "Sign up today." That's all the typing we're going to do for this particular SmartArt, so I can close out of the text area. I do wish to make this SmartArt larger. Now notice that the selected object is this little square in the middle. I want the whole SmartArt to be resized, so I'm going to click on the outside edge. Once the outside edge is selected, I can use my standard tools. I'm going to go to the Format tab, and I'm going to change the height and the width. The height that the book is requesting is 4.8. So 4.8 inches is the height they wish us to change the SmartArt. The width is going to be 9.5. Changing the width to 9.5. That increases the size of our SmartArt, allowing it to fill the screen better. Our last piece of SmartArt that we're going to modify is going to be on slide number 2. With slide 2, we are once again going to turn this bulleted list into a piece of SmartArt. So I'm going to select all the items on this bulleted list. And the SmartArt we're going to use, again, is not on this list. So we're going to go to the More SmartArt graphics. The one that we're looking for is Vertical Curved List. Vertical Curved List. So as you take a look at the group on the right, which one makes the most sense to click on? Hopefully you pick the list group. Now I'm looking for something called Vertical Curved List. Now as I look through this, I'm looking for something that is curved. And here we go. Vertical Curved List. This one over here might have been another guess as I'm looking at it. So I am going to use this Vertical Curved List. What we're going to do a little differently to this, however, is what I want to do is to these circles, I want to add a picture fill. Specifically, I'm going to go out to the web and I'm going to find a check mark in the form of a picture and fill this circle with a check mark. So I'm going to go to my first circle. I'm going to right click this graphic. Notice the fill option. Alternatively, I could go to Format, Shape Fill, and come down to Picture. Either one will work. Since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and click on Picture. I'm going to search Bing for the word check, C-H-E-C-K. Here you'll see several colored check marks. I'd like you to choose, I don't want any with boxes around them. Choose one of the standalone checks. I'm just going to pick this first one here and click Insert. You will now see that check fills in the circle. Alright, I'm going to repeat the process for the other two, but I'm going to choose different colored checks. So this one I'm going to do with the right click. So clicking on the circle, I'm going to right click, choose to fill this circle with a picture, doing a search for check, choosing a different color. For me it's going to be green. I'm going to insert that green check. And finally, clicking on the third circle, I'm going to go back and do my shape fill, fill this with a picture, do a search for check. I want to see if I can find one that looks like these. Okay, I'm going to choose this one here. So I now have 3 different check marks that I have incorporated into my SmartArt graphic. Well, that wraps us up. We're going to save this file. If you haven't done so already, please save it to a folder with today's date on it. Once you've saved this file, you may close it. In this lesson, we worked with SmartArt diagrams. We showed you how to convert a list to SmartArt. We changed the order of our SmartArt pieces. We modified the SmartArt styles and colors. We used picture-based SmartArt. And then finally, we added a picture fill for SmartArt shapes.